Learning is defined as any relatively permanent change in behavior that's brought about due to experience, practice, or training. So this is contrasted from different kind of inborn instincts and genetically programmed behaviors that we see in some species, as well as in ourselves. For instance, in infants, the instinct to suck or to sort of hold on to the mom's hand or to grasp. These are genetically programmed instinctual behaviors that don't require any learning or experience to demonstrate. Learning is change in behavior that's due to practice or experience here on Earth. So you're acquiring these skills, you're learning from the environment, you're learning based on feedback, and we see a relatively permanent change in behavior due to practice. Now, it's interesting to think about the function or purpose of learning. We can look at some really simple organisms, single-celled organisms, that come into the world with most of their behavior genetically programmed. They don't have to learn from the environment. They don't have to spend time, receiving feedback and adjusting their behavior. They pretty much come into the world ready to go with a genetically programmed set of responses and behaviors. Now, these organisms tend to be simple and have pretty basic needs in terms of survival and reproduction. Now, humans, of course, and several other species are capable of learning. We can learn from the environment, feedback. We can learn from others through instruction or advice. And it's interesting to think, why have we evolved to be able to learn in this way? Now, you can imagine that if all of your behavior was pre-programmed right from the start, you may have trouble adapting or basically navigating new situations and new problems. So one of the key purposes of being able to learn is that it allows us to adapt our behavior flexibly to changing environments and to changing circumstances. Humans live all over the world, and the different kinds of problems that we face vary. Somebody living in the Amazon rainforest is facing a different set of adaptive challenges in their environment than somebody who's living in New York City or Tucson. So learning allows us to adjust our behavior in a flexible way so that we can solve new problems and meet changing challenges in our environment. Now, in this chapter this week, you'll be introduced to some of the more basic forms of learning, like classical and operant conditioning, as well as observational learning. Learning through watching others and getting feedback from others' experiences. So please go ahead and continue to read the chapter. And this whole week, we'll be looking at all of the different ways that we learn from the environment.